Tandem Nomads, episode 92. Have you been struggling to grow your career or find your sense of purpose while moving from a country to another? Or have you just recently started a business and wonder if you made the right choice? Then this episode is for you. And for those of you who already started a business, you might discover in this episode something you might have not realized about the journey you embarked on. Hello, Nomad Nation. This is your host, Amel Deregi. I am a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. Tandem Nomads is the entrepreneurship platform designed to help expat partners turn their dual career challenges into successful portable business. In this episode, I will share with you the 3 reasons why starting a business is the solution for expat partners. For a lot of people, entrepreneurship is still very often considered as this special thing, scary thing, risky thing to do that only special and few people can do. And I really am surprised sometimes when I talk about entrepreneurship and starting a business for expat partners to see how the reaction of certain expat partners who kind of like, what? Starting a business? No, I can never be an entrepreneur. And I always wonder, why would someone think that? And so this is a little bit the motivation behind this episode, to make you realize that entrepreneurship and starting a business is not reserved to, first of all, men. That's a big topic. And not only reserved to a certain type of people who have a certain type of degree or certain type of background. That's the first thing I really want you to realize. But also, entrepreneurship and starting a business is not only an opportunity for expat partners to find a solution with their dual career challenges, but it is also a necessity. You will see today in these 3 reasons why I believe that it is for expat partners one of the best solutions to deal with their dual career challenges and their need of finding fulfillment, but also building a safety net and financial independence and being empowered. But before I go any further, I have a huge announcement for you. I'm so excited about this, and I can't wait to share it with you. In a couple of weeks, Sunday Bean and I are launching a program to help expat partners find the right business ideas for them. So for those who don't know Sunday Bean, I have been sharing her story and also interviewing her many times on this podcast show. I will put the link on the show note of this episode so that you get to know her a little better. But I'm sure there are a lot of you here who have been listening to Tandem Nomads on a regular basis, know her and know the great solution-oriented coach she is, an interculturalist. And she and I have been working together for now months to figure out how we can help expat partners be more empowered and embrace entrepreneurship as the solution for their dual career challenges. She is an amazing coach that helps people find their inner power and purpose, while my biggest strength is marketing and business. So we decided to join forces and create this new program to help expat partners find the right business ideas for them. So if you are interested in this program, we are planning to have a free webinar to be able to introduce you to it. So go to the webpage of this episode and make sure to sign up to show your interest for it, and we'll make sure to let you know how to sign up to this free webinar. You simply need to go to tandemnomads.com/92. This episode will be launched on air in March 2018. So if you happen to listen to this episode afterwards, you can still go to tandemnomads.com/92 and I'll make sure to leave the information that can be useful to you there. But I'll make sure to not let you hanging in there, even if the webinar has already happened. I'll make sure to give you all the information you need. So again, tandemnomads.com/92. Okay, so now that we covered this big news, I'm so excited about this. I can now share with you my 3 reasons why I think that starting a business is the solution for expat partners. The first reason is that starting a business is actually your chance to shape your career and your life the way you want it, especially in the context of expat life and moving from a country to another. The thing is that most expat partners who have had a career before moving abroad, or sometimes even those who did not, automatically think about looking for a job that will be able to allow them to move from a country to another. And usually they look for a job locally or a job that will allow them to like an international company that will allow them to work in a country and then transfer the job to another country. So this is what happens most often, is that expat partners try to find a job and try to continue their career the way they actually know it, without realizing that there might be another way out and another way to continue practicing their talents, their skills, and their passions, but in just a slight different framework, which is a business and entrepreneurship framework. The thing is, it's honestly very difficult. We already know it. We've covered it in Tandem Nomad so many times. It is nearly impossible, not completely impossible, but very rare that expat partners manage to find a job that allows them to move from a country to another. And what really, really bothers me, from my personal experience and all the expat partners' experiences that I've been talking to, what really bothers me is this thing about having to reinvent our journey again, and again. And although I think that that's a really great skill that we get to develop, to be able to question ourselves on a regular basis every couple of years and reinvent our journey nonstop, it's great. But if it's the whole life that during their whole experience abroad, expat partners have to do that again and again, no wonder that certain of them end up in depression, loss of identity, loss of confidence. It is not a normal thing to have to continuously question who you are, your skills, and your competences. So for me, building a portable business, a business that you can continue no matter where you go without interruption, is the solution to be able to continuously grow without going up and down, and having to justify ourselves each time, and looking for new solutions each time. So I think that stability is something crucial at some point in our lives, especially if we travel our whole lives. I get very passionate about that, and I hope I'm making sense right now. But really, the fact that expat partners got used to move from a country to another and start from scratch every single time, and sometimes go and interview for jobs that are right so below their capacities, just makes me sick. It bothers me. I don't think it is normal that we have to give up all our skills and go for underqualified jobs and things like that. So I know that a lot of expat partners, for instance, volunteer and everything. And I just want, even if we volunteer, I want to make sure that we do it in a sustainable way and in a continuous way where we can see growth, where we can see continuity, stability. Because if we don't have that, the confidence gets hit Definitely. And the identity gets hit. So I really want you to realize that going from a country to another and looking for a local opportunity every single time is the worst thing you can do for your confidence and your growth, and even for your resume. Going from a job to another, as much as we can teach you how to write a great resume that justifies why you've been moving so much and why you've been changing from a country to another and why you've been moving from a type of job to another type of job and why have you been volunteering so much. Of course, we can always find a way to reframe that in an attractive resume, but the fact is that you did have to reinvent yourself continuously. And that's a great asset. It shows your strength, and we're going to talk about it. But it's definitely not something that's going to help build continuity and security, and which going to actually be connected to what I want to share with you later on about financial independence. But I just want to emphasize on this point. The main reason here for me to build a portable business is to bring that stability and not have to reinvent yourself from a country to another, especially if you have to do this your whole lifetime as an adult. And the other thing is also, as I insisted very often in the previous episode, you can also check the number, episode 90, TN92/90, in how to build a portable business. That's another thing. I mean, if you start a business, make sure that it is a portable business. And the whole framework of Tandem Nomads is all about teaching you how to do that. And as a marketing and business coach, that's exactly what I do with my clients. I teach them how to turn their talents, their experience into a business, but not just a business that's portable. Because if you start building a business that's local, it's going to be again the same story, or having to leave it behind and then having to go to another country, wondering what to do with that business that you built, all that effort created to build that business that you have to stop again and start all over again in another country. So very important to consider starting a business as a solution to building a portable career, but also making sure that that business has a business model and a system that is portable. And I have a whole episode about that, tandemnomads.com/90, where I share with you what it takes to make it portable. But again, a job will not offer you that. There is very, very few jobs and opportunities and companies that can allow you to grow sustainably in your career while moving from a country to another. Because I really want you to think about the career of your partner, for instance, or people you know who have not moved abroad. You start with it. You start probably like with an internship. You start your career with an internship, then you move to the next level, your salary level keeps growing. And so there is a continuous growth and sustainability in your career. Obviously, not all the time. Things happen. Some people have, even those who don't move, sometimes need to reinvent their journey, and that's okay. But they don't have to do it every couple of years. So I am all for reinvention, but I find it super, super dangerous to having to question what have we achieved in our lives continuously. And when we have to interview from a job to another regularly, that's exactly what we're doing. We have to prove ourselves for jobs where we are even more qualified for. We have to continuously justify why we're good for it. And that's not okay. Anyhow, I could talk hours about this, but I think I made my point. I really think that building a business, a portable business, is the way just to keep our mental sanity as expat partners and not have to prove ourselves all the time. The thing is that building a business is not an easy thing. It's not always working straight. You do have to go through ups and downs, but it's another type of challenge. It's not a challenge where you keep questioning your identity. And even if there is a failure, it's another type of learning lesson and growth. So I hope I made my point. But in this first point, when I say that business is your chance to shape your career and life as you want it, the first reason for that is because I don't think that there is a lot of opportunities in job-wise to continue moving from a country to another and build stability. The other thing is also the fact that a lot of expat partners are parents, mothers and dads who need to stay home to take care of the kids, need flexible hours, and there are a lot of holidays. It's another issue with traditional careers. When we're being expats, we have to have more time to be able to move and see the family, aging parents, visiting friends, and also visitors, friends visiting. A lot of things about the expat lifestyle that don't match a traditional job. So building a portable business where you can be independent, and you're not working less when you have a portable business, but you definitely have a better control over your calendar. And if you're mindful about how you do it and quite diligent about it, there is a possibility to build the flexibility you need to be able to continue to take care of your family and have this lifestyle. So another reason in this first reason of how you can shape your career and your life the way you want it. And also regarding that first point, I want to talk about something very, very important here. I know that money is a little bit of a taboo in our circles. We don't like to talk about money. We don't like to talk about the fact that expat partners usually financially depend on their partners. And here is the deep, deep reason why I started Tandem Nomads. It's great that couples can live on one salary, and that the trust in the relationship is big enough, and the role of a mother is big enough so that, especially a mother, it's often really mothers who stay at home, that their role is big enough that we should not put them under the pressure of having to earn money. I think being a mom and a dad is probably the biggest job on earth. So it's not so much about the value of the person that I want to talk about here. But the reality is expat partners, once they have given up their careers and their financial independence, end up in a very, very vulnerable situation. Expat life is great, but as Rachel Yates, for those who know her, often says, it's real life. So things happen, and I can't tell you how many cases of expat partners I know that end up divorcing and not knowing what to do with their lives because they have not worked for 20 years. They have no savings of their own, no safety net, nothing that can allow them to start their life again, or even go back home and get their insurances back, or get their right to unemployment and things like that, or even to their retirement. So I really want to talk about this. This is not easy stuff, but it's very important to make sure that as expat partners, we have a way out if things turn wrong. And building a portable business, as small as it can be a great way to step it up when needed and have a revenue that allows to start somewhere if things go wrong. So I know it's a tough topic, but we mentioned it a lot in Tandem Nomads, especially in the episodes where we talk about how to build a safety net. But building a portable business is also a way to have something of your own in case things turn wrong, but also have a track record. You do not need to be a successful multi-billionaire to be a good, successful entrepreneur, as long as you know what you want for. And this is what we're going to cover with Sunday in our program, how to find a business idea that fits your lifestyle, your needs, and your capacities. So you do not need to become a billionaire and have the pressure of a big entrepreneur to be able to build something that allows you to have the safety net if things go wrong and if you end up having to live by yourself or divorce. This is just it. I really want to talk about these things because I know we've been, keeping this taboo for too long, and it's time to just put it out there. I hope you got my point. So it's not only about also financial independence, it's also about track records, as I mentioned. If, for instance, you start a small business and you have a little bit of a trace of it, a little bit of track records, presence online, if you need to find a job after that, at least you can prove all the skills you have put in place in order to continue your career. Because what I experienced trying to work from a country to another at the beginning is that companies, when you go back home or if you go to another country, they don't necessarily know the companies you worked with, and it's really hard to actually know exactly what you actually achieved. So if you need to find a job, proving what you have achieved in your business can be an amazing way to actually go back to the workforce. That's just an exit strategy, although I really think that you should think about building your business to succeed it and make money. And that's another thing we talk a lot about. But it is a safety net by itself to think about how you can continue your career without having too many big gaps with nothing in it if you haven't found a job. So think about starting your business. A lot of components related to this first point. It is your chance to shape your career and life as you want it. And in this first point, I talked about the fact that traditional jobs are not fit for this lifestyle. I talked about the importance to build continuity and stability thanks to a business that is actually portable. I talked about the flexibility that you need as a parent. And finally, I just talked about the financial independence and the track records that building a portable business can allow you to do. So a lot of points with this first reason. Now, the second reason of why I think that it is a great thing to start a business as an expat partner is that I think that expat partners are, in a way, already entrepreneurs. You are already an entrepreneur and you might not know it. Why am I saying that? Because I think that entrepreneurship is most importantly a mindset. Being an entrepreneur requires a very specific mindset, and a mindset that global nomads and especially expat partners already have for pure survival reasons in this continuous moves. So what is it, the entrepreneurship mindset? The entrepreneurial mindset for me is the capacity of solving problems. At the end of the day, it's quite simple. Being an entrepreneur is simply being somebody who knows how to solve problems. And expat partners solve problems all the time. Think about all the moments where you arrive in a country where you had no knowledge about the language, about how to set up internet, how to set up electricity, how to find the right place to live, how to find the right place to purchase the things you need, how to find the right doctors, how to find the right network. Imagine all the type of problems you had to figure out in an environment that you don't even know. So that mindset, you have it. All of you there who thought that entrepreneurship is not for you, you might be wrong, because you might already be inside, in there, in you, you might already be an entrepreneur. And I want to pause here and let it sink in. Think about it. You have been solving problems all the time. Okay. Here's another thing about this global lifestyle is the resilience and capacity to adapt. That's another big quality that entrepreneurs have to have. Resilience and adaptability. And that's something that you have been doing all the time. Trying to go through the ups and downs of life abroad and adapting to different cultures and different ways that things work and just making it happen. You have that quality. That's super important for entrepreneurs to succeed. And here's my third thing about the entrepreneurial mindset. Is that entrepreneurship is also an opportunity for personal growth on top of the professional growth. And in order to grow, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Spoiler alert, you have done that more than once. Getting out of your comfort zone. So, and I'm sure that you have been training, you have been learning continuously and growing continuously. It's just about the mindset shift. You're just doing it knowing that you're an entrepreneur now. So entrepreneurship is all about continuous growth and empowerment and diligence and being continuously learning. And you have been doing that, just that. So think about it. You're not starting from scratch. You already have what it needs to be an entrepreneur. Finally, about the entrepreneurial mindset, I want to make you realize that you might have been volunteering so often and trying to help many people around you. And entrepreneurship is about making an impact. And this is something I truly believe in. I don't believe in entrepreneurship as something that's only about making money. It's about solving problems, like I said before. And it's also about making an impact. And the reality, the beautiful reality, is that most expat partners I know have been making an impact in their environment. And I'm sure you did too out there who's listening here. So think about it. You have been making an impact, which makes you in a way or another also an entrepreneur. So I really want you to think about that. Let me summarize again all the reasons why I think you are already an entrepreneur and you might not know it. The first thing is the fact that you've been solving problems all the time. The second thing is that you've been building resilience and adapting to change all the time. The third thing is that you have been growing and learning and curious all the time. And this is what makes an entrepreneur successful. And finally, you have been making an impact. You have probably been helping so many people around you and volunteering. And that's what entrepreneurship is about, making an impact. All right, I hope that by now I have managed to slowly get you to realize, if you haven't already, that you are probably set to become an entrepreneur. And here is one thing that you might have not thought about, and even if you already have a business. And that's a big deal. And I want to really make a big point here because we don't hear about it enough in the expat world. My third reason about why I think that starting a business is the right solution for expat partners is that times are changing. And you actually will need to be part of our new world if you do not want to be completely disconnected from today's reality, which is the world of technology, of artificial intelligence, and the change of our society and how the workforce works, what is often mentioned as the future of work. So here's the thing, as expats, we tend to move from a country to another and we don't really realize the changes that are happening in the society because, to be honest, we're a little bit of in a bubble. We're in our bubble trying to figure it out, adapting and everything. And we don't realize what's happening out there in the normal work, quote, normal workforce. So I want you to realize that our world is changing. And traditional careers are changing, expat life or not. The jobs that we know today are not going to exist 20 to 30 years from now, I can tell you. And the jobs that you know today, if you have kids, are not the jobs that your kids will have. So I want you to think about that reinventing your journey and embracing entrepreneurship and thinking of your career differently than the traditional way you thought about it is not just something to do as an expat partner, but as a simple human being in our world today, you're gonna have to question yourself of how you can reinvent your career. And I think entrepreneurship is actually gonna be the future, because I have noticed it now with a lot of millennials that I'm talking to. And you don't have to be that young to be millennials. All the young people in their 30s, I can easily say that over 50%, if it's not more, if it's not close to 90 of the young people I know in their 30s, on top of their traditional jobs, they all have a kind of business on the side, all of them. And because they know that that's not enough. Their job is not enough, probably financially, but their jobs are not enough also in terms of fulfillment. And a lot of companies today struggle to hire millennials because they're not providing them with that huge sense of fulfillment that people are looking for nowadays. And this is the common thing with expat partners. The one thing that expat partners are motivated by is not necessarily money. It is actually that strong need for purpose. And this is how it's working nowadays. We are not alone in this situation. The millennials and even a little bit older are all looking for a way to make a sense on top of their traditional jobs and slowly preparing their exit from a 9-to-5 jobs to entrepreneurship. I can tell you that because I have been involved in this for so long, and especially in the past 3 years, I have been talking with so many amazing people who on top of their jobs managed to make an impact through entrepreneurship on the side of their jobs. So that's my first point. Traditional jobs as we know them are going to disappear, not only because millennials don't want it, not only because the sense of purpose is strong, but also because our society has changed, especially because of technology. And that's my other point. I have been repeating myself so many times, I think I will never stop, about the importance of embracing technology. You might have, I'm sure, have had this conversation at some point saying, oh my God, we live in a crazy world where everybody's on their phone, social media is threatening, artificial intelligence is coming and it's stealing our jobs. Okay, this is the reality and it's true. But technology is also a huge universe of opportunities to be able to do things that we would have never been able ever to do before. Just starting with the fact that you can communicate with your family and your friends constantly, day and night, no matter where you are, that's already huge. And today, expat partners' dual career challenges is fixable thanks to technology. 20 years ago, you didn't have internet. There was actually really no solution for expat partners to continue their careers. For real, there was no solution. And today, we can't say that. There is plenty of opportunities thanks to technology. So really, really important to actually embrace it and be part of our time today. Another thing that's changing is the markets. The market in the fact that companies are not having the same budget and the same way of distributing the workforce and the value of their profits, and the teams and the needs of the type of jobs are changing. And we're getting more and more, if you analyze, I will actually put one of the reports in the show notes of this episode from the company called PwC on how the workforce today is changing from traditional jobs to what's called talent mobility. So jobs are going to be more and more about short term. They're going to be focused on tasks rather than careers. There will be more and more remote teams. I'm sure you already heard about this whole also trend of digital nomads. Another episode, I won't take too much time on the topic of digital nomads that I feel very passionate about because I think it has nothing to do with expat partners, portable business, but I'll talk about it next time. But anyhow, the workforce is changing and the company's needs are changing, and they're not looking to hire people either the way they used to. So it's not only millennials that have different needs, but the companies also are changing and shifting. So it is not just expat partners who are suffering from the way markets are changing and the fact that companies are not hiring the same way. So very important to live with our time again and not think that this is just a problem of expat partners and just like resign and accept it as it is, because there are solutions. And entrepreneurship is one of them. And actually, for being a consultant in the corporate world, I have just had a meeting this week while recording this episode with a company who asked me for my advice, and I can tell you that all of them are trying to convert their employees into entrepreneurs. They want their employees to think like entrepreneurs and to act like entrepreneurs and not like employees. So big thing, I really want you to realize that entrepreneurship is not this like an attainable thing that we might have been taught in as young people. This guy with his suitcase and his suit going to meetings with long tables and chairs in big buildings. This is not what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship is a mindset that even companies are looking for when they hire people. So on top of that, I want you to realize that, as I mentioned before, technology is evolving. And if you are following the trends of our world today and getting out of our expat bubbles, you will realize that all the countries today are wondering how are they going to change the educational system of our schools because of the growth of artificial intelligence. Today, our universities and our schools are training kids and students for jobs that will not exist anymore because machines will take place and replace it. So I want you to realize that it's not the far future. It has already happened. And I can tell you, if you follow closely what's happening, you will know that artificial intelligence is already here. And if you want to live in your time and in your century, realize that entrepreneurship is the solution. I'm going to put the link to a book that you might be interested in if you want to be more interested in the topic of artificial intelligence. It's Alec Ross, the author of this book, who explains a little bit about how the future of work and how we need to rethink how we function as a society, also as professionals. And Alec Ross says the importance of soft skills nowadays, and entrepreneurship is one of the soft skills to learn to be able to not be replaced by machines. Artificial intelligence is going to replace tasks, is going to replace all the things that are based on like hardcore skills. But one thing that's going to make us survive in our society and be relevant is our soft skills and also our capacity to take initiatives and leadership. So think about that. Initiative and leadership. And that's the definition of an entrepreneur. Yep. So I want you to think beyond our circle, Nomad Nation. I want you to start thinking beyond our day-to-day global life, because here's the thing. Being an expat is soon not going to be relevant anymore because everybody is traveling anyways. The mobility is the big 21st century theme. And we cannot use that anymore as an excuse to not turn our challenges into opportunities. Turn your challenges into opportunities. As you know, for those of you who listen often, this is my big motto, and I don't think I will give it up anytime soon. As repetitive as it is, it can't be more relevant. I'm going to summarize some of the points I covered in the third reason of why expat partners should consider starting their business. So this third reason is that times are changing and you will need to be part of our new world if you do not want to be completely disconnected from today's reality. And that reason, in this third reason, there is a few points I mentioned. The first thing is that our careers, even beyond the expat world, are not the same anymore. The companies have changed in their needs, but also the employees have changed. More and more people are looking for flexibility and entrepreneurship as a solution. We're moving more and more into talent mobility, and technology, as mentioned, is a big opportunity we should embrace. And finally, entrepreneurship, leadership, and initiative, soft skills are all the things that will make us survive the next coming decades with the rise of artificial intelligence. So I hope that I kind of planted some seeds there, that we can start moving the conversation forward, that we realize that our situation is not that unique, although I really want to fight for the empowerment of expat partners so that we don't have to have situations that are so terrible, like the financial dependence in case of divorce and in case of loss of identity and depression. This is something I don't want to ever hear about again, and I'll continue to fight for it until we know that it's not relevant anymore. But definitely, I want to make sure that I provide you in this podcast show and all these programs, all the tools and practical advice on how you can build your portable business while moving from a country to another. So to end this episode, I want to invite you again to go back to the webpage of this episode, tandemnomads.com/92, so that you can register for the webinar that Sunday and I are organizing to be able to help you to find the right business idea for you that fits you. And that's very important. It's one thing to have a business idea. It's another thing to create and implement a business idea that actually works for you. So Sunday and I are really, really, really excited and looking forward to launch this program. And so make sure to check it out. I can't wait to hear about your journey and your feedback on this episode. I want to hear all about what you have to share with me on that. Stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.